Hello friends, in today's video we are on a mission through some dungeons. Let me tell you. So I have read books 1 and 2 out of 8 books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Here is book 3. I don't own the remaining 5 books, but at the day of filming this, Prime Week is coming up and maybe the other ones will be on sale for Prime Week. If so, I will probably order them. But I have a goal. I am on a mission. It is my life goal, truly right now, is to complete the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by the end of July. And there is a reason. Me and my best friend Andrea, bestie girl here, every year go to this event called Gen Con. And if you are unfamiliar, it is the biggest board game convention in North America. It is held in Indianapolis, and it's amazing. And this year, the hot ticket event, the hot ticket thing is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl is coming out with its own RPG game, and we are very excited about this. And there was not a ton of tickets available for the Dungeon Crawler Carl events in comparison to the 70,000 people a day who go to this event. So when we were able to snag tickets for a RPG one-shot, a live show of Matt Dinniman playing the Dungeon Crawler Carl RPG, as well as an interview Q&A with Matt Dinniman, we were both like, okay, we need to finish the series, because at this point we both only read the first 2 books, Live, Laugh, Love, obsessed with them, but there is a lot to get through in order for us to feel really like we are deserving of these spots in all of these events. If you've never read Dungeon Crawler Carl before and you're unfamiliar, this is an LitRPG series about Carl and Donut. Honestly, Donut's pretty much the main character. But in this series, Donut and Carl basically end up at like the end of the world scenario where they're put into this dungeon crawling game show, reality TV show, I guess, that the aliens are putting on. And they're having to go through all of these different dungeons, collecting items, defeating enemies, picking their race and their class, and all of these sorts of fun little tidbits while trying to not actually die. And the first book was pretty much mainly like lighthearted, super goofy. In book 2, we did start to get a little bit like deeper with Carl and Donut starting to really like think about and like in their brains have the concept of like, oh, like his ex-girlfriend, who's actually Donut the cat's mom, she's probably dead. Like the world's pretty much over. So like, well, also not only are they, you know, doing this reality show, they're also going on these talk shows to try to get like sponsorships and get better items and all of these sorts of things, as well as all of these weird mysteries are starting to crop up during their time adventuring in the dungeons. So I'm going to read you the synopsis of book 3, and then obviously I don't have the other books, but I'll read you the synopses when we get to them. The next one after this is the Gate of Feral Gods, then the Butcher's Masquerade, and then the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. But I know that book 8 just came out. But this one says, welcome to the Iron Tangle. Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat princess Donut have to team up with other contestants not only to survive but to solve a deadly puzzle in the 3rd mind-twisting novel in this addictive series. Earth has been transformed into the set of the galaxy's most watched game show, Dungeon Crawler World, a nightmarish, multi-level video game-like dungeon filled with traps, monsters, and brain-melting puzzles. Carl and Donut have survived so far, but this 4th level is unlike anything they could imagine. The Iron Tangle, an impossibly complicated subway system tied together into a knot of trains of all kinds, from classic steam engines to sleek modern cars. Up is down, down is up, close is far. The cars are filled with monsters, the railway stations aren't always what they seem, and the exit is perpetually just a few stops away. The top 10 list is populated, and Carl and Donut have made it, but that popularity comes with a price. They each now have a bounty on their head, and they must work with other crawlers to solve the puzzle of the floor. But how can they trust what they don't know, and whom to trust? The secret to unraveling it all must be hidden in the pages of a seemingly useless book. welcome crawlers, welcome to the 4th floor of the dungeon. I will be audiobooking these because the audiobook is so good for this series. And yeah, but this is book 3. This is where we're gonna start. And I think I have around 6 weeks. So if I listen to on average 1 a week, I should be able to finish. But even if I like don't finish in time, I'm still gonna obviously post this video. Also, if you would have seen in the thumbnail, I do have these shorts on that look like Carl's underwear, which is like a whole part of the story. It's like he just does not have pants, he's just wearing like heart underwear. These are like pajama bottoms from Target, and me and Andrea both got a pair and we're gonna wear them for like the RPG. And she's gonna make us black shirts with like neon writing. Mine's gonna say new achievement, hers is gonna say God damn it donut. But yes, we are gonna get into the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook, starting with this one today. The way Audible does not tell you what percentage you're at in a book actually causes me physical, mental, and emotional pain. And I hate that. But we are, I think, around 30-ish% of the way through the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. This is book 3, obviously. And so far I'm really enjoying this book. So this level of the, which level does it say in here what level they're on? The 4th level, yes, is basically they're in this like really complicated subway system, and they're trying to figure out where to get off, where to get on. Monsters are coming in, monsters are getting off. All these sorts of things. They're getting different prizes. Where I'm at, Carl has already received this cookbook, which is very interesting. I'm not gonna like tell you what it's about, but they're making barters, making trades. Like for example, Donut's like charisma and stuff is really strong, so she's like working on persuading people to give them discounts on things. And then what's his name? His like, they're like help her outer dude. What's his name? I don't know why all of a sudden. Mongo is the like, what's it called? Is the dinosaur. What's the other guy's name? I think it also starts with an M. I'm just hoping I open the page and it's like there. Mordecai. Mordecai is his name. So things are going on with Mordecai, and I just feel like anything I say is a spoiler. But they're receiving these different prizes, and obviously that's where Carl's getting ladies' clothes, Donut's getting some other crazy things. They're working on improving their skills. I gotta figure out what I can say that's not a spoiler. One moment. Okay, we're back. Okay. I feel like my brain is in the toilet per usual for me, but okay. Some things that I can say that I've looked up, like, is this spoilers, whatever, is not. Okay, so we know that Katya is coming with them. There's somebody she's met later on. And there is this running thing that sponsors, that's a new thing as well, is people can sponsor the different players in the game. And Carl and Donut are basically like have like trillions of followers right now, and Katya has like really bumped up there since becoming part of their group. But the truth of the matter is people don't really like her. They think that she is boring, so Donut is really trying to help her become cooler, like making her have a mohawk and do all this like stuff to make her more interesting to the viewers. So we do have that aspect. We also have this aspect of them getting better like living scenarios with the things they've gotten from their sponsors. They've been able to like combine their earnings and all these different things to make like a level 5 room. So Mordecai has his own space, and they're really like living this lap of luxury. But so far in the beginning of the book, they've mainly been like building this room, and then like I said, Carl gets this Dungeon Anarchist cookbook, and when he opens it, he realizes that it's not maybe exactly a cookbook. It's more so like a hidden clue help guide type scenario for him. And in order for him to get it, somebody else would have had to die, and it's like the 25th edition, and whenever he is done with the book, he'll pass it on to the next person, and then it'll become edition. There's like a page that he can write in the book with his tips and tricks, but he has to like not stare at it too long, don't make people suspicious of what he's reading. And he doesn't really seem overly impressed by it at this current juncture, but I have a feeling it's gonna have some bomb-ass information in it. And yeah, so it's kind of where we're at. They're really trying to uncover and figure out this subway station without getting killed by the many of enemies that keep entering the train. But according to the conductor, or person working on the train, the monsters can only get on at like certain like stops, and so they need to get off at this stop because that's the last stop that's safe, and dot 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 dot. So we're just kind of like following them around on that journey, and I am so far, I think, liking this the best out of all of the books. I'm really enjoying where this story is going, and I'm having a wonderful time. Oh, another thing, I'm planning on, like in my real life, like listening to this and then listening to something else and listening to another Dungeon Crawler Carl and then something else, so that I don't get burnt out on Dungeon Crawler Carl. I think that's the best course of action, is to like beep bop back between my other projects I'm working on and then coming back to this, because I do think it would get a bit exhausting, especially as the length of these books continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger, to listen to them all back to back to back. I feel like everything would blend together, but yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm having a freaking blast. Okay guys, I have finished the Dungeon Anarchist cookbook, and I do have like notes of what I want to say, what I want to talk about that like is not spoiler-y, and then maybe some like brief spoilers towards the end. I have it all on my computer, that's why we're in here on my computer. Oh my god. But yeah, this book was, like, I really did enjoy it, but it was definitely confusing, and from, like, reading reviews and stuff, oh my god, this chair is so squeaky, I do apologize. I have, like, a new chair on my wish list, but the one that, well, it's like $250, but this is also the last book in the series that I have physically. I do have the rest of them also on my wish list. My birthday is coming up at the beginning of September, so maybe I will receive them, but anywho, so this book is the floor where they're going through the subway system, which is intentionally quite confusing, and that did make it a little bit confusing for the reader. And we really get to see, this book leans more into like there actually being like strategy for getting through this floor, because time is ticking and they're not coming up with any ideas of how they can actually get out of this subway system. They need to use teamwork, and they need to have a plan and figure out what the key to getting out of this situation is. As well as there is like a bit more of like politics behind this story once we get to this point, because the leaderboards come into play, and because Donut and Carl are so high up on the leaderboards, they're worth so much money that they become really big targets for other crawlers wanting to kill them and take their money and all of their loot and all of these things. So there also was like a really big point, as I mentioned, Katya was really important in this book, but there's also this line where we really get to like delve into her and learn about like her relationship with Heckle, or not Heckle, Hekla, who is was originally one of her allies, but we come to learn that Hekla was very like manipulative towards Katya, and we get to see them kind of like have it out a bit, which was quite interesting. We also get to see Carl become more and more dangerous, getting different items that maybe are good, maybe are curses, maybe it's all about how you use them, and getting to see him like get this Anarchist cookbook in his hand, get this, he gets like the ring of divine suffering, and getting to see how that plays out was very, very, very interesting. We also are just really leaning into allies. As we're getting ready for the next floor, a new rule gets implied that you can't add anybody to your team. Only people who were already in your team are going to be able to continue with you. And on this floor, they really learned that like, oh, like this couldn't be done alone. Like we have to make allies. And we also can't look over small details and small things that seem useless. Everything is with a point, and you need to have your eyes opened. So that was pretty much this book. They obviously make it to the end because otherwise the series would be over. But yeah, this is one that a lot of people from my like reading reviews do find the whole like iron tangle subway system to be quite confusing, but the character development in this one is really, really, really good. So with that, we do have another 4-star. I just think that there's something about the comedy in this series that is not gonna allow me to have a 5-star, because yes, there was like the parts with Katya and Hekla that were a bit more serious, but then there's like literally like Princess Donut is just so funny, but like in a good way. But I am somebody who like my 5-star books are books that destroyed me, that made me sob, gave me goosebumps, and that's just not what's happening for me so far in the series. We're not even halfway done though, so there's still plenty of time for that to happen. But as of right now, I think we're probably just gonna have 4 stars across the board, which I'm not mad about. But we have finished the Dungeon Anarchist's cookbook, and I'm happy about it. Okay, I'm literally holding this book so that I can reference when I'm organizing my clips where we are in life, because I don't have the rest of the series, but just know we are starting Dungeon Crawler Carl book 4, which will mark halfway through the series, which is very exciting. And I'm probably not going to get started on it till tomorrow, if I'm being so honest with you, because I just feel like I can't focus right now, and I'm only going to be probably working for about another hour, so I just don't see the point, if I'm being honest. But I will be starting that tomorrow, and I'm very excited. Guys, I'm a little over halfway through the Gate of the Feral Gods, and one thing about these books is there are so many characters and so much going on, and as somebody who has aphantasia and does not visualize in their mind, at like the halfway point I have to like read through a spoiler summary and be like, okay, make sure I have everything grasped, and I definitely do. So I'm glad about that. I'm glad to like have that little reassurance, but I have some notes over here of things to talk about because these books are long and there's so much going on. So in this book, we kind of start out like literally exactly where book 3 ends, and in this beginning part they're opening some chests and they're all kind of getting different mechanisms that help breathe underwater, and Donut's like, oh hell no, like I'm a cat, I don't do water, this is not happening, you've got to be kidding me type of energy. And when they reach floor 5, it's of course wacky, as they all are, and there's all of these like bubbles, and inside the bubble is its own biome. Some are like the desert, some is a forest, some is the ocean, whatever. They have their own castle, they have their own rulers, and they have their own crawlers that are trapped there. And they think the MO in each bubble is pretty simple: to like overthrow the castle and get the crawlers out of there. However, a lot of the crawlers are not like, what's the word? They're not like willing. They've got their own like shit happening, and they have like their own agendas. They don't trust Carl. They are just trying to survive in their own way, and they don't want to come with him. So it's kind of like this whole scenario. He is also learning about, there's this artifact that is called the Gate of the Feral Gods, and this is something that can be the most powerful as well as the most devastating artifact in the game. You have to, I think, assemble 3 separate pieces to create this gate, and once you have it, it can give you like a portal anywhere. And there is, however, really big consequences for using it, which I'm not going to tell you. I'll let you discover that on your own when you read the book. There is also a really big uptick in the political aspect of this book. We're really starting to see like discourse between like the syndicate, the different administrators of the dungeon, I was gonna say the allies, so like the sponsors, that's the word. I was gonna say supporters, also not right. The sponsors. We're seeing a lot of discourse happening between all of these different entities that are putting the games together. And we also see Carl starting to really strategize. Not for what's just happening right now, but like trying to strategize for like possible future floors, things that are gonna help them, like different items that'll help now but in the future, or even like they've like put together some like items and stuff that might not necessarily be useful right now at level 5, but having these things ahead of time will super mega amazing prepare them for the future. So it's been really, really, really interesting seeing the differences and like the, like discourse is not the right word, but like getting to see Carl really grow and be more like strategic about things compared to earlier in the book when he was not. And yeah, overall I am having a really fun time with this book so far. So good. It's been very, 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 very fun. We're getting to build out and meet lots of new characters and see Carl get faced with like a lot of difficult challenges, some of which being that like not everybody that they meet in the dungeons is who they are. A lot of people are changelings, and whenever this happens, it might look like you're battling with your best friend or somebody you've become allies with, but really it's somebody else using their face as a disguise. So I am very interested to see where it goes, and like as much as I am enjoying this series, I do just for whatever reasons, I don't think that this is going to really ever be more than a 4-star for me. There's just something about the series that is 4 stars to me, which like obviously 4 stars is a extremely good rating, but I know everybody else and their mom gives these books 5 stars, and that's just not my truth, and I think that that's okay. I think I can like them for what they are, but it just not tickle that 5 stars of feeling, and it's just not hitting that feeling for me. But it does not take away from the fact that I am having a wonderful time. Okay guys, I have finished Dungeon Crawler Carl for the Gate of the Feral Gods. There was a fucking hella long epilogue that was something else. I forgot to pick up my cinnamon rolls that I made earlier. I'm just gonna put some foil on them. But I am basically here to tell you that per my prediction, I did in fact give it 4 stars. I don't really feel the need to tell y'all any more about it, because I do feel like, actually I gave you like a 60% update rather than a 50, and I feel like everything else that went down in the book would absolutely be spoiler material, so we're just gonna leave it at that. I am gonna take a little bit of a break before I continue onward. Like I think I've been going like one book then back to DCC, one book then back to DCC, but I do think I am getting burnt out to the point where like I'm kind of like looking at the time left in the book, like is this almost done? Like I'm kind of feeling sick of it, which I don't want to be the case. And because the books are getting longer and longer, I feel like I need like a 2-3 book break before we get into more, which might be my downfall in regards to getting all of these done before Gen Con, which I think I am okay with. I think I would rather fail at getting them done before Gen Con and enjoy my time than force myself through them when I'm kind of feeling burnt out by the series. You know what I mean? So I think it's probably for the best to do it this way. Another day, another sleigh. You know, just so I know where we're at in life, I am about to start book 5, The Butcher's Masquerade, and the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This book is 700 pages, so it is going to take me, I'm not going to be finishing it today. I should finish the audio between today and tomorrow, which will be good. It's currently 4 o'clock. I probably have 4 to 5 more hours worth of work today, and I think the audio at the speed I listened to is like maybe 8 hours, so I should be able to get about halfway through it today. Technically, if I want to finish all these books in the time that I want to finish them, have a week and a half to get through the other 4 books. Do I know that that's going to happen? No. Am I going to try? Yeah, but we will see. Let's just jump right into it and see what Donut and Carl get themselves up to in today's episode. By the end of this, though, I should also have my Dungeon Crawler Carl t-shirt that Bestie Girl is making me. So, if I have that, I will definitely show you my full outfit for Gen Con. about halfway through The Butcher's Masquerade, and this one might be my first 5-star of the series. You know, I didn't know if it was going to happen for me, but it does feel like it may be happening, because there was a reveal in this book towards the beginning that literally jaw on the floor. Jaw on the floor. But this book is really interesting. So they're on the 6th floor. I almost said pumpkin. I don't know. Princess Donut and Carl. And this floor is this like hunter versus competitor type of situation. The hunter versus crawler, that's the word. And I have notes because this book is very long. And so it's this really weird scenario where they're kind of in this jungle type area with like dinosaurs and like really difficult terrain and things like that. And it's very interesting seeing how these dinosaurs versus Mongo as a dinosaur is like causing a lot of like, oh, no dinosaurs allowed past this point, but like Mongo's their pet and he's not bad, XYZ. So there's this really interesting thing happening there. But basically, alien viewers of this show, or like any humans who are still alive on Earth, people who are viewing the show are able to pay exorbitant amounts of money to come into the show and hunt the crawlers for sport. And so it presents them with like these really weird like morality and like just, what's the word I'm looking for? Like them as people, like humanity situation where like some people are coming in with the guys that like they don't see the crawlers as anything more than entertainment. They're basically like hunting a deer. They don't give a shit. Then there's people who want to do it because they have all this respect for the hunters and they think they're so big and powerful and XYZ. So we have that going on. We also have, again, a lot more going on in the political aspect of Carl being like required to go on all these talk shows and stuff because he is like the highest up. But Carl is stepping more and more into this role of like, what's the word that I used? He just has this like character growth where he's more about like overthrowing these people and like using their rules against them and making them look stupid rather than playing by their rules, which I am really looking forward to. And then the title comes from like at the end of this floor, whoever doesn't get killed gets to attend this, as they're saying, like friendly ball. I don't trust and believe that anything about this is friendly, but we're also, of course, gaining more and more allies throughout the book of these hunters that are coming in and realizing, oh, like maybe this is fucked up. Like maybe this is like, these are like real people. But yeah, so that's basically what has been going on thus far. Is there anything else in my notes that I need to... Yeah, Carl's becoming like a resistant leader. That's what I had wrote. He's like using the dungeon's rules against it, which is, you know, very, very, very fun. And I'm just like I said, there was a reveal earlier in the book that really gooped and gagged me. Gooped and gagged. So due to that, I'm having a wonderful time. I'm loving it. And I'm gonna finish it today. It's only 11 o'clock and I have probably like 8 more hours of work, so let's go. I finished book 5 yesterday. Oh my god. Let me tell you, I had the most obnoxious fucking experience while I was driving around running errands. I was listening to it in the car. That was great. Gave it 5 stars. I'm obviously not gonna really talk about the second portion of the book that much because I feel like it's hard to talk about these books without it being spoilers. It's especially difficult, but I will say I was just finishing up the epilogue, and because in this book Princess Donut becomes a bard, there's literally her like writing all these songs, and she wrote a song about Mongo to the tune of Wonderwall, and it was so funny, but they like keep her like death metal, western, da 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 da, and she's like singing in all these different ways. It was really funny. But yeah, I really loved it. It was 5 stars. But yesterday I was driving around running errands and I had this errand to get my TSA pre-check done. And it was the worst experience of my life at the fucking Office Max. Like, fuck that place. The experience was so bad. So bad, so bad. So, like, it was really great to get to go back in my car and finish a 5-star read, because it did turn it around a little bit. But overall, The Butcher's Masquerade is my favorite so far. I can see why it has like a 4.46 or something crazy on Goodreads. It was so good. I'm hoping at Gen Con maybe they'll have signed copies of some of Matt Dinniman's books, because we only own books 1 through 3, so I still need to get books 4 through 8, but they just are expensive. They're like, it would be like $100 for those books, and I'm just like not really in a place where I can afford that right now. Maybe I will require them for my birthday. I forgot I had makeup on and I just rubbed my face. One moment. Oh no, I fear it's just this lighting is that bad. I look normal. So, as you can see, that's why I don't really film from this angle. But I am not gonna start book 6 right now. I might start it after my next read. I'm going to start it after my next read, but I like to break it up a little bit. So I will check you. I think it's called The Inevitable Ruin, or maybe that's book 7. I do not know, but I am determined to get them done. I am. I think the audiobook that I'm going to listen to in the meantime is only like 8 hours, so I'm hoping we can get maybe halfway through. I think I did the math and it'll be like 9 hours of listening time, so I'll see you when I see ya. Guys, we are about halfway through book 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, and this is going to be your arachnophobia warning. This book does involve a big scary spider. Literally saying that because my husband, he wants to read this series and I'm gonna have to like warn him about book 6. But I have my notes because, again, very long. I think this is the longest of the books, but I'm loving it. It is going so good. It is so interesting. Live, laugh, love the whole scenario. So this book, they're entering the 8th floor, and a lot of the floors have been like very fantasy vibes. This floor is a like recreation of Earth right before the apocalypse happened, and it's super eerie because there's kind of like ghostly creatures and like ghostly versions of the people on planet Earth before the apocalypse happened, going about their lives not knowing that everything is about to go to shit. So it's very like eerie, I guess would be the best word. And then amongst these memories of Earth, there are a bunch of legendary creatures, and there's this mechanic where they capture the creature and then they turn them into battle cards, kind of like a magic card, like Magic the Gathering. They turn them into these cards, and whenever they have these cards, they're using them to assemble a powerful deck, which they're trying to talk about like how many cards is best for a deck. They're saying 18, we'll see. And you're going to use this deck to because at the end of the floor, they have to face enemies using the team that they have assembled in their deck. So as somebody who loves games, card games, battle games, I love that mechanic. It is so fun. So they're kind of doing this whole scenario with that. They do learn that the biggest, baddest creature is this like big spider creature. And so they're kind of trying to figure out like the lore on that, how to get there, what to do, and how, it's like a big mystery about this monster. And so they're kind of focusing a lot of their energy on that and the legendary monsters in general. Another big thing is the AI of this dungeon crawl scenario is becoming increasingly more predictable. And we do have the character of Samantha, I think is her name, and she's the like sex doll head, just the head, that goes along with them. Like, she's being able to gain powers and do things that should not be possible as like an AI creature. Like, she's not meant to be able to do the things that she is doing. And so things are changing very quickly to stuff that Mordecai can't help them with because he doesn't understand what is happening either, which is very interesting to see like this downfall of the technology and like what is going on. There's obviously all the conspiracy theories and like mysteries that have been going on through the previous 5 books are starting to collide a bit in this book. Donna is still being 10 out of 10 amazing because she's just so funny. Everything she does is amazing, and she's like getting more powerful for battles, which is amazing, obviously. Oh, but I think that's basically about all I wanted to talk to you guys about. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at on the journey in life. My internet's not working. I don't know if we have AT&T fiber. I don't know if that's the problem, or if like they're having issues, or if it's just we just reset the router. So I'm like reconnecting and seeing if it, I always go to YouTube. Okay, it loaded, so we should be good now. But yeah, that's that. I asked my husband so kindly to stop doing the dishes so I could film this, so I'm gonna tell him that I'm done, and I'm gonna go listen to the rest of this book. Okay guys, I'm about to start This Inevitable Ruin, which is the longest book, book 7. The audio is like 28 hours. I don't know that I'll get through it all today because I'm planning on working quite late, but I've had a very traumatic day. I've gotten a couple of very traumatic phone calls, so we will see what I get through. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow. I leave for Gen Con in like 3 days, so I better get to it if I want to finish this and book 8. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're still going to try. And oh my god, it's just been a day. I'm going to go eat lunch, then I'm going to get back to work and start this book. Okay guys, I'm about halfway through This Inevitable Ruin, and I do have to say, unfortunately, I do think this is my least favorite of all the books. I'll still probably give it 3, or it's gonna be minimum 3, but probably 4 stars, depending on the ending. But this is, it's the longest book, of course, and this book is like war heavy, okay? I was saying the adventurers, the crawlers, got my notes, are on the 9th floor now, and this one is like the floor that everybody's been like dreading because it's this like faction war scenario where they're not just like battling monsters, but it's this like entire thing where these like big gigantic armies come out to like battle for control of this castle that's in the center. And they're typically led by like the important like higher up aliens. And this year everything is changing because instead of it being like typically like those aliens can respawn whenever, but like this year they like the rules have changed because the AI is going nuts and death is permanent this time around. So they're able to like make their own factions, and Carl and his allies are now, because of this, they're like on an equal playing field with the higher up people instead of being like super lower levels. But we're literally just watching them kind of go through, make alliances while we watch the AI continue to like break down, and all of these sorts of things to like continue on this like major huge battle scenario. Yeah, it's like definitely been like a huge shift from like the dungeon exploration situation to like giant warfare. And I am somebody like in fantasy books, shows, D&D, all of these things, the like war and combat of it all is always, my hair looks crazy. Put these back on, it looks a little bit better. That type of thing is always like the thing that intrigues me the absolute least. Like, I'm so fucking bored by it. So like, I don't know. Then there is this like big dilemma happening where it's like kind of a spoiler to talk about it, so I'm not really going to, but involving like Carl might have to make some choices about who lives and dies, and we will see. But it's just not my favorite, unfortunately, especially with it being the longest. I think for sure still The Butcher's Masquerade is by far my favorite book. I'm gonna look up what like, I wonder like where my favorite falls on like the, okay, so Butcher's Masquerade is universally considered everybody's favorite, and that was my favorite. However, book 7 is like most commonly everybody's second favorite. So that's very interesting because it's not for me, but I know the whole combat thing is a personal issue. Guys, I'm back from Gen Con, and I'm just popping on here. I don't really have anything else further to say about DCC 7 other than I did end up giving it 3 stars, and my feelings kind of remained the same throughout the rest of the book. However, I have since seen Matt Dinniman and Jeff Hayes in person. They told my best friend that she was awesome. I did get to experience Jeff Hayes doing a live reading of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I am honored to be of service. I'm ready to... Raoul trailed off as he looked upon the carnage. The crab turned in a circle, clearly bewildered. What happened here? No time to explain, but you gotta do your thing. Do it now! What thing is that? I asked, still looking about. Everybody is dead! My heavens, how is it so? A new card appeared in my hand. It was Alpha Male Carl. I hadn't wanted to put him in the deck, but it was either him or Frank, and Donut decided he would be the better choice. We'd been a total short after Donut used Golden Combo to temporarily fuse Lazarus with Skylar Spinach, and then added Ren's other consumable card, Glow Up, to make the combination permanent. The stronger versions of Asahano and Uzi Jesus made it a great, powerful combo, especially since we'd be allowed to bring a single card with us onto the next floor. But none of that mattered right now. Right now, I needed to get this damn crab to jerk off into the ocean. The whole demon eviction event had happened, at least according to the announcer guys, because the AI had made the unusual decision to consider a crab sperm a mob. Because so many had died, it broke Sheol and it kicked off the event. Now, Amion's Take Me Home...
And got to sing Princess Donut's parody song of Wonderwall.
And all the logs that die for us are screaming. There are many things that I would like to be to you, but I don't have time. Stand up, everyone. Let's get the focus. Come on. Gonna be on the best talk show. And then we'll brawl. Dungeon crawl. Oh
no. With Jeff Hayes. So there's that. But I will catch up with you guys when we get started on book 8. Hello friends, we are about halfway through Dungeon Crawler Carl book 8, A Parade of Horribles. Okay, so this series, I feel like this is a series for me as somebody with aphantasia who like has a really hard time visualizing things in my mind. Like, I'm loving it, but I do tend to get very confused remembering who everybody is. So I feel like I need like a chart, but that's just me and my own issues. Also, anything fantastical, even like TV shows, for example, I think this is a perfect example, is Game of Thrones. It's my husband's favorite show, and so we watched it together, and I like could not keep anything straight. Kind of like I'm currently watching House of the Dragon. I couldn't tell you anybody's name, but I know if I rewatched it, I'm gonna know everything. So I feel like this is a series where like once I finish, I'm gonna have to like run it back, and I'm gonna find so many new things in it the second read through because there's just so much going on. But this book, we're on the next floor of the dungeon, and this one's very interesting. So they arrive on the floor, and everything seems way too straightforward. Everybody has like these customized vehicles, and it's like a series of races, which seems like a bit too straightforward, and Carl is not like believing it. He's kind of treating this like a puzzle, trying to figure out what the like hidden agenda is behind this floor. And as the races happen, there are different monsters, different mechanics, and crazier things are happening each race. So as Carl predicted, it is not as simple as just win the race. Carl and Donut are like continuing to grow as characters, and Carl is becoming more and more like a problem for the AI, and like the sponsors and like the different people working on the show, are the aliens, are more so trying to just like deflect whatever kind of shenanigans Carl is going to do next, because he's no longer even acting like a contestant of this show. He is trying to like start a revolution, which we love to see. And we're seeing so much more like pressure on everybody just trying to survive. Like, it's becoming increasingly obvious that there's no way for everybody to come out of this alive. So we're kind of really battling with all of these different emotions of what is going to happen to all of our favorite characters, and this does really feel like we're becoming to the climax. I know that books 9 and 10 is like one mega saga final of the book, and I was watching an interview with Matt Dinniman, and he said that the reason it's going to be 2 is because he's a douchebag who has a cliffhanger. So I do think that is hilarious. We love like the self-aware abilities there. So we can like really feel this coming. There's still like that combo of like Princess Donut's comedy blending in with everything, but it is becoming less and less comedic and more intense and tense. And we're also kind of introduced to what is it called? This whole thing where beyond the races and going into the 11th floor, there is this parade of horribles, which is like basically like a history lesson that's like all of like the like apocalyptic horrible things happening here, and this where like I don't want to say anything because spoilers are going to be revealed, but the encounters are getting stranger and stranger, and things are becoming increasingly serious and dark within this book, which I do enjoy. I'm liking it definitely better than book 7, because like I said, book 7 is my least favorite because of the whole like war zone vibes. But yeah, we are basically at this point, we're not just trying to survive, we are trying to understand what the fuck is happening here. And like Carl's like the first crawler to ever want to stop this, want to figure out what's actually going on and not just go along with what's being thrown at him. So it's been really interesting getting through it. So that's just that on that. We are going to continue onward and hopefully finish it today. Okay guys, I did put on my shirt for you. New achievement. But I just finished this parade of horribles, and we're giving her 4 stars. I cannot believe I now have to wait to see what happens. That's actually very devastating, and I do feel like I'm going to be in a bit of like a series hangover for a while, which is really tragic because I've not been doing great with my reading to begin with. Like, I feel behind. I feel like I have not been getting through my books. I've already been feeling kind of like almost like I've been anticipating this lump. Also, I'm not going to say really anything about the second half of the book because I do feel as though like everything is very spoilery. Just know that like there were different points where I was basically being brought to tears. It was getting very emotional in that second half of the book, but I don't want to spoil anything for y'all because I feel like it's been very hard to film this video and not have like any spoilers, but we're just gonna stop with we're just not gonna talk about it anymore. I don't even think there's a release date for book 9, and so like I really feel like I'm like tomorrow, the day after I'm filming, like tomorrow in real life, I'm supposed to be having a 24-hour reading challenge, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to read anything after this? Like I just feel lost with no direction. But that is finally gonna be it for this video. We finally did it, guys. We made it to the end, and I will see you guys next time. If you made it to the end, drop a cat emoji down below or a donut. I'll see you next time. Bye.